Hi, I'm Erika Del Sordo. Welcome to today's Talk with Erika. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and audio podcasts. All links are in the info section. Today, I have Tim Andersen on the show. Tim is known as the Appraiser's Advocate and has more than 35 years of real estate appraisal experience to his consulting, teaching, and mentoring services. After owning his own real estate brokerage for 11 years, he went into real estate appraisal full time. Welcome, Tim.
Erika, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for that wonderful smile. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about what I do. I appreciate it. You're very kind.
You're welcome. I'm really excited to get into this. Last week, I had a real estate broker on, and so I had wanted to hear from you, the appraiser's advocate, because you both have so much to offer right now, especially in what this real estate market is doing. But first, I have to mention that you've got the best voice ever. That is quite the voice.
You are very kind, Eric. I appreciate that very much. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with yours either. But that's very thoughtful of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it. And I know you have your own podcast. We're going to talk about that towards the end of the show, because I definitely want folks to gear towards your podcast as well. But so let's talk, because as I perused through your website, you portray yourself to be one of the most fun appraisers I've actually ever met. It looks like you're an outdoor enthusiast as well, maybe not.
Well, the pictures on my website were when my daughter and I rode our bicycles to Key West, and
that's awesome.
we rode from Isla Morada all the way down to Key West. We took a couple of side trips. So we bicycled over 132 miles, and it was absolutely wonderful. It was a fabulous experience. It was a great experience to be with my daughter. It was a great experience to see the Keys. I've been to Key West numbers of times, but this was the first time on a bicycle. And it was interesting to see what you don't see in a car. And it was really quite fascinating. And I was amazed at how beautiful the Keys are and how wonderful the people are. Everybody wanted to take pictures, wanted to know how we were, had drinks for us, etc. It was an absolutely lovely trip. So my wife, who did all the artwork for the website, decided that those should go in there. So that is a bicycle trip to Key West. You know it's Key West because one of them shows me sitting there right by mile marker 0 in downtown Key West.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, your wife did a good job, because that's the first thing I had noticed. And I thought, well, this is fun. So that was perfect. That's really nice. So let's walk me through what you do for folks. Let's talk about what it is you do and this 35 years of experience.
Well, as you mentioned, I started out in brokerage. I owned my own office, and I transitioned to a real estate appraisal because I enjoyed the analytics of it much more than in the brokerage end of things. And when I was in graduate school, I was older than the typical graduate student. And it was an interesting program because it appealed to students who were older and were not necessarily looking to transition, but had not been in a classroom experience for a long time. And one of the other guys in the class was from North Florida, and he was telling me of a terrible experience that he had with the state of Florida relative to some appraisals he'd done. And as it turned out, the state of Florida, after putting him through a lot of silliness, ended up dropping all of the charges against him. In other words, you didn't do anything wrong and don't do it again. So that got me interested in what can I do to help other appraisers, because appraisers are not trained to defend themselves. We're trained analysts, that's true. But we don't know how to get up in front of the state and say, Your Honor, my learned colleague may be right, but he's an idiot. And somebody had to jump into that position. So for whatever reason, for good or ill, I decided to jump into that position. And over the years, I've been able to help a number of appraisers either completely get out of trouble or to ablate to some extent the penalties their various states wanted to impose on them. And it's something that I enjoy doing. I don't appraise anymore. Given my age, I won't tell you how old I am, but I've been appraising since the previous millennium. That tells you how old I am. But it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's a lot of fun. I talk with appraisers all over the country Until COVID hit, I traveled all over the country on it and teaching and lecturing and speaking. Of course, the last year that's kind of quieted down, but it's something that I enjoy doing, and it's different, totally different than brokerage, and it's completely different from real estate appraisal. But I do it mostly because it's fun.
Well, that's good. You got to do something because it's fun. But what you do is so incredibly important because everyone needs that kind of help. And that's awesome that you're the appraiser's advocate because they don't really know where to turn when something like that happens. So that's really incredible that you took that by the reins and that's what you've done. And by the way, you have a lot of accolades I've noticed, earning the SRPA and MAI designations, that is. You're a certified USPAP instructor. You're also a distance instructor. And in 2008, the University of St. Thomas awarded you a Master of Science degree specifically in real estate appraisal. So that's a lot going on. You've got a lot under your belt.
Oh, it's been fun. I like to look at the fun parts of life and ignore the unfun parts. And by and large, it's been a lot of fun. Got to meet nice people, got to have great experiences. And when I sit down with somebody and work with them and they go, oh, okay, now I see what I did wrong. I won't do that anymore. That really motivates me to keep going.
That's big. That's really big. And that's wonderful that that motivates you. And a lot of people would probably back off and kind of walk away. And here you are getting motivated. And that's what they need. That's exactly what they need. So how has COVID affected your operations, though, specifically?
Well, I used to do a lot of traveling in consulting, in teaching, in lecturing, in speaking. I was typically gone 6 weeks a year on those assignments all over the country. And because of COVID, obviously that hasn't happened. So for good or ill, we've become rather good at Zoom meetings. And obviously Zoom has certain advantages. You can sit in your office and pretend that you're all dressed up, like I'm sitting in my office pretending I'm all dressed up because I'm not, and chat with people. And the opportunities to work with people didn't go away. The venue just changed. So the venue is not so much one-on-one anymore. The venue is via Zoom. But we do Zoom meetings for groups. We do Zoom meetings for individual people. We teach via Zoom. So the teaching hasn't ended, but the traveling and the speaking have pretty much took a hiatus. Although I've done a little bit of traveling so far this year, and we'll probably be doing some more, but nothing like before COVID.
Oh, I'm sure. Nothing's going to be like before COVID.
No.
Talk to me about your podcast. When did you start that, and how is the podcast going?
Well, our producer, Mr. Russ Reba, had a lot to do with that, and
Nice.
he was kind enough to point me in a number of directions. When back in the last recession, we were all looking around for something to do, and I saw Russ advertising, working and doing voice work. And I thought, wow, that sounds absolutely fabulous. So I got in touch with Russ, and he was kind enough to put on some seminars, and I attended them. And it was fun, but it was starting brand new into something that I knew absolutely nothing about. But I knew a lot about appraising, so I decided that I'd be better off staying there. But the concept of doing a podcast sounded like a lot of fun. And it turned out to be a major pain because it took me about 6 months to learn everything. And, I was using a lousy microphone and I didn't know how to edit. And I didn't realize there were background noises. And I didn't realize there were all the other things that make a lousy podcast. But once I learned how to do it, it's a lot of fun. I don't do it as much as I'd like to because I'm busy in my business. But I recorded a podcast this morning with another appraiser that'll go up on YouTube probably tomorrow. I recorded a podcast last night that I just got through editing this morning that will go up on my website most likely tomorrow. And of course, I'm getting to do this podcast with you. So podcasting has been a wonderful way to meet people, a wonderful way to extend my influence to other people, and it's been fun. But it's also been fun because of the nice people I've gotten to meet, and everybody's been helpful, and everybody has been very encouraging. And it's something that obviously you enjoy doing, and it's something that I enjoy doing too. In fact, your studio looks a whole lot better than mine, so I'm going to have to do something about this absolutely gorgeous subterranean Spartan studio that I podcast out of.
It looks fine. You look fabulous and you sound fantastic. What's the name of your podcast, by the way?
Whatever I choose to call it when I record it.
Okay. Hey, that's fun. Podcasting is fun, though.
Yeah. Oh, we might call it that. Podcasting is fun. No, it's just the Appraiser's Advocate. It's on my website.
Oh, okay.
My wife told me that I should call it The Story from the Mic. And I think that's great, but I keep forgetting it when I get nervous doing a podcast. So far, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, all right. We'll keep going. So, Tim, what's next? What happens now? What's up for 2021?
Oh, gosh. A friend of mine and I have just gotten finished doing a series of Zoom meetings on various aspects, various details of real estate appraising. We thoroughly enjoyed putting it together. We thoroughly enjoyed doing it. We thoroughly detested doing the production end of it because neither one of us knew how. But we had a lot of fun, and we met lots of nice folks. And so we're going to be working on more of those in the future. I'm learning how to make videos other than in this Zoom context. And as we do that, we're going to be presenting more detailed lessons, tutorials, etc., on some of the more arcane and less understood areas of real estate appraisal. Also, there are changes taking place in the industry, and for various reasons, I have access to people who are very up to date on those changes. And as a result, the stuff that I can talk about will be parts of future podcasts and parts of future tutorials. And then I'm still riding my bike and still thoroughly enjoying my family. And occasionally, Russ and I exchange emails. And with any luck, I'll get to exchange emails with you in the future, too.
Yes, I would love that because I do. You're just a wealth of information with what you do. That's really awesome. And your website is theappraisersadvocate.com, right? Theappraisersadvocate.com.
Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
Wow. Hey, is there anything else you wanted to add today? Anyone you want anyone out there to know?
Well, I don't know about that, but there were a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you relative to technical areas, because obviously you have technical background that I completely lack. One of the areas that I wanted to talk to you about was to ask you, and I hope this is not embarrassing. I certainly don't mean it to be that way. Other than you've obviously worked in radio, but other than working in radio, is there anything that you did specifically to develop the quality of your voice?
No.
Just that puberty gave you.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. My voice has changed over the years, of course, but I remember when I was 18 years old, people would say to me, "You sound like you have a radio voice." And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because when I was 18, I was not in this industry. And so then when I was about, I want to say I was 20 when I had started to go to school for broadcasting. And I did sound completely different in the early days, but I guess practice, a lot of practice. I was on air for 15 years as a reporter in South Florida. And I guess that's what did it. And it just kind of developed. I never had speech coaching, and I was given a gift from God, I guess, because I didn't do anything to make it sound like this.
And then
I hope that answers that.
Oh, it does. Thank you. Now, from a standpoint of your podcasts, what motivates you to get out there. And obviously, you're trying to help folks because you cover a myriad of topics. So, what motivates you every day? What gets you up and running in the morning such that you want to do everything that you have to do, including podcasting?
What a great question. What gets me up? Coffee is what gets me up in the morning. But podcasting is big. You know what? I love to help people. And it's funny because I've made these couple of shows about real estate and talking about real estate. And that's the next endeavor that I'm going into. I want to be a real estate agent. So that'll come later on this year. But it's just helping people. And that's what my podcast was born out of. When COVID struck, my heart went out to parents and business owners. And I thought, what can I do? And when I was a reporter in South Florida, I would talk over cameras. I was never on camera. So it was a very, very different thing for me. And I said, I'll go for it. And here I sit with my own podcast now. And it was born out of trying to help people and trying to discuss small businesses back when COVID-19 first happened in 2020 and when it really hit everyone hard. So my motivation literally is just helping people all the time. And so that's why the podcast was born. That's why I want to go into real estate. And that's what I just want to continue doing. But that's my motivation, Tim.
Well, going into the brokerage end of real estate, and you won't start as a broker, you'll start as a salesperson. Going into the brokerage end of real estate means you will be doing a lot of help. You'll be giving folks a lot of help as they buy and sell and possibly even lease a real estate. When I was in it, I found it to be rather rewarding, but it was completely different then, obviously, than it is now. I mean, back then we still had paper MLS books, but yeah, I think especially given the fact that you are outgoing and you don't mind making your position known. You don't mind taking a stand. I think you're going to find it to be rewarding. Of course, it'll be frustrating, but then what isn't? You'll find it to be rewarding, and you'll probably find that you're going to be good at it as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really looking forward to it. And boy, oh boy, thank God for technology, right? I can't believe you guys did the paper MLS back in the day. That would be something else in today's day and age. So thankfully, we've got the technical era here.
Oh, in those days, we went from brokerage office to brokerage office, picking up keys
Wow.
to show houses, and then we went from brokerage office to brokerage office, taking them back. And I got out of it just as lock boxes were getting really popular. But yeah, it was very much a manual organization back then, a manual profession, because technology had not yet taken over. There wasn't an internet, there wasn't emails. It was you still banged out your letters on a typewriter and sent them snail mail to wherever they were going. And it worked, but it doesn't work like things work now. So I think that's great. I must congratulate you on your drive and your ambition and your desire to keep working with other folks to affect change in them. That's great.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for explaining that, by the way, about what it is you'd gone through back then, because a lot of people don't realize just how easy it is now. So thank you for explaining that. And thank you for my interview. This has been fun.
You're more than welcome.
I love when the tables are turned.
Well, it was very nice of you to invite me to be with you. I appreciate it very much. It was very nice of you to.
Thank you. So thank you very, very much. I'm very, very happy that you came on the show. Thank you. I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear from you. It's something that I don't think a lot of people even knew about. So the appraisersadvocate.com, and we'll find that in the info section. But Tim, thank you for being with me.
Oh, Erika, surely it's my pleasure. I've looked forward to this since you gave me a call, and I'm going to put this on my resume that I got to be with Erika Del Sordo on the air.
I love that. I love that. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. My best to you and all of yours.
Thanks for listening to today's talk with Erika. Join me next week for another discussion with the experts who help make life easier. Please visit my website, erikadelsordo.com, where you'll find all of my social media platforms and more. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for listening.